almost there.
It's doing donuts.
What's up, guys, and welcome to this week's McInnes Marketing Minute with I and he. So guys, this week we are going to talk about the March monthly update. So if you've been following our blogs, you know that we send out a newsletter every single month about what's going on in the market. This is the monthly update for March. So the figures in which we give you is just based upon March this year.
MLS stats.
Yeah, so these are basically monthly figures which are released by the board each month, and they just deal with the amounts of listings and the amounts of sales. So we're not talking about price point increases or decreases at all. This is just amounts of listings and sales. So there's two ways to view these stats. So you can either view the stats and compare them, which is probably what the media does most, is compare them to this time last year. So March 19 versus March 2018. Or you can look at them over, say, the past few months, say a quarter, and kind of see where the market is trending to some changes and get a bit of a feel for what's happening, whether more people are actually buying now or more people are listing their place.
And that's the direction we are going to go. We're going to compare between December, when we did the forecasting update, that what we thought 2019 would look like. So we're going to start with December numbers and March numbers today. Condos and houses.
That's it. So I think let's start with West Side condos and West Side houses. So
you want to go? You want me to go?
No, I'll go. So I mean, listings wise, condos wise, there was 188 listings in December, new listings to the market for houses. For condos, 71 houses came onto the market as well in December. Well, how that looks in the spring, as you can probably guess, there's a lot more condos on the market, 801 condos. West Side houses wise, 188 on the market. Naturally, spring is a much more busier time.
So that's a 400% condo inventory increase.
Yes. Yeah, and time of year plays a large aspect on that as well. December, if you remember, we were on the rooftop at the Woodwards building. That was just prior to Christmas. I think that was actually our final one before Christmas.
Yep.
And obviously with New Year, Christmas, the holidays, people tend to just deal with it in the new year, take their properties off the market, less sales happen. And then in spring and fall, two very popular times to sell your place. So naturally, a lot of people will then put their property back on the market around spring. And if you're a buyer as well, you're thinking there's a lot more choice when it comes to springtime. So usually more sales happen because that's when you go out shopping as well.
Yeah, and we could jump into, which we are not going to today, but we could jump into December to March 2017, December to March 2018 to show that contrast, but kind of irrelevant now as the market has shifted. But with that being said, yeah, just showing the velocity of where things are at. You want me to talk about sales?
Yeah, you go for sales.
So sales in December, West Side condos, 157. So as Ben said, obviously it's a double-edged sword. Winter comes, less inventory on the market, less buyers, and spring, summer, in that center of the year, more inventory, more buyers. So 157 in December, and March 267 West Side condo sales took place. That's including downtown. West Side houses, December 33 sales, and March 64 sales. So that's doubled in the last quarter. The positive thing is that in general, even with the climate of the market we have today and that we've seen over the last 12 months, is that there is still that increasing amount of transactions taking place, which I think if we're going to look at it positively and not pessimistically, of course, that's a good thing. The transactions are escalating, which they typically do this time of year, but it's happening even though there's so much doom and gloom out there.
Yeah, I mean, in the videos here and on the blogs, and if you're subscribed to our market update, you'll actually see the graphs in front of you, and you'll see for the first time in a while that we've actually gone on a slightly upward trajectory. And I mean, like Jay said, that tends to happen this type of year, but don't get us wrong, we're not saying that the market is now rising again. Places are going to be selling super fast, prices are going to be going up, but typically around this time is kind of what we see. There's more listings come to market, sales start to slightly increase, and even though we're in, I think if you look at the figures, the worst figures since 1986,
sales figures, yes, in March,
then we're still on an upward trajectory as well. So as we kind of predicted back in December, there was going to be more that comes. You good?
Yeah, good.
There's going to be more that comes to market, and sales are going to remain at more of a buoyant level. And if you're looking at the graphs, you'll see they will. Though it's a slightly upward trajectory, they're on similar sorts of levels. That's all across east side, west side condos and houses as well.
Yeah, and like Ben said at the start, again, these are not the sales prices statistics, sale pricing statistics, listing prices or sales prices, or the difference between. These are strictly unit inventory listings coming onto the market and sales of listings coming off the market. So it's very hard, which again the news does constantly, is jumps all west side houses in together, which this is doing. 64 sales in March, that could be 60 sales under 2.5 million and 4 over 6 million, or either or. It's not giving a full perspective of what that segment of the market you can expect price-wise at all. It's simply a gauge of, in general, what the velocity of the market as a whole is doing in that neighborhood, in that category.
Yeah, and east side for condos and houses is showing the exact same trends. A much higher increase. I mean, December there was 70 listings, and then today there's 291 listings.
That's east side condos?
That's east side condos, and for the houses, 61 listings and 210 listings. Other comparisons there.
Yeah, so fluctuating up, of course, like the west side, not quite as drastic, but the houses is actually up there. That's a good jump as well.
Yeah, so overall positive. It looks like we're kind of getting to that stage now where, you know, buyers are thinking about making their move, sellers are kind of adjusting to where the market is, and that in itself causes, I want to say, the cogs to slowly start turning.
Yeah, east side
start making the move.
Yeah, east side condo sales to that point, 71 in December and 121 March. So a fair 3 times larger. And then 42 detached east side houses sold in December and 53 in March. So not a huge jump up there, just over double, but it's still going in the direction that we want it to go. Really, no matter what the pricing is, the hardest part about the market when it changes is the stagnant period and the lack of comparables and the lack of being able to gauge what a realistic price is for both the buyer and the seller. So when things are selling, no matter what the pricing is, if the market's going to stay buoyant, go up or go down, it's creating new benchmarks either side of the line, which gives prospective buyers or sellers information to go on, which is the key, really. Yeah,
and so this is, I mean, there's a lot of people out there who still think that the market is going to come down a lot in terms of prices. You know, whether that seems to be the case, we'll have to wait and see. Typically spring is a busier time, so I think these next few months when the stats are released will paint a lot more of a clearer picture as to what the rest of the market in 2019 will look like. So it's good to see that even though the actual overall amounts have come down, when you look at the comparisons, we're still on that same trajectory, which means things do start moving. The market starts to pick up a little bit, and I think we're saying the same thing as we did in December. We don't expect it to kind of do this. We expect to kind of stay more a bit like buoyant after a certain level and kind of remain at that peak for a while, just with all of the new changes and such come in. But these next few months are going to really, I think, paint the picture for 2019.
Yeah, no, for sure. As we come into summer, I think it'll focus in on that kind of really hot spot in the year, and it'll give the most perspective of what we're going to see kind of the last 2 halves.
Excuse the pun.
Excuse the pun.
But that's it from us this week, guys. Please do subscribe, like, comment, follow us on social media, and we will see you next week.
Thanks for your attention, and sign up at McInnesMarketing.com for your monthly updates and all these stats chart form every 30 days. Thanks again.
Please do subscribe, like, follow us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and we will see you next week. Thank you.
Do we still have Twitter?
We still have Twitter.